The court's controversial but expected ruling gives individual states the power to set their own abortion laws without concern of running afoul of Roe, which had permitted abortions during the first 2 trimesters of pregnancy. Almost half the states are expected to outlaw or severely restrict abortion as a result of the Supreme Court's decision, which is related to a highly restrictive new Mississippi abortion law. Supporters of abortion rights immediately condemned the ruling, while abortion opponents praised a decision they had long hoped for and worked to ensure. Protesters descended on the Supreme Court on Friday to speak out both for and against a decision that will upend decades of precedent in the U.S. Justice Samuel Alito, as expected, wrote the majority opinion that tossed out Roe, as well as a 1992 Supreme Court decision upholding abortion rights in a case known as Planned Parenthood v. Chief Justice John Roberts voted with the majority to uphold the Mississippi abortion restrictions, but did not approve of overturning Roe altogether. The court's 3 liberal justices filed a dissenting opinion to the ruling, which quickly drew protesters to the Supreme Court building on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. The Constitution makes no reference to abortion, and no such right is implicitly protected by any constitutional provision, including the one on which the defenders of Roe and Casey now chiefly rely, the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment, Alito wrote. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives, Alito wrote. In their scathing joint dissent, the court's liberal justices wrote, "The majority has overruled Roe and Casey for one and only one reason, because it has always despised them, and now it has the votes to discard them." The majority would allow states to ban abortion from conception onward because it does not think forced childbirth at all implicates a woman's rights to equality and freedom, said the dissent by Stephen Breyer, Sonia Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan. In a concurring opinion with the majority ruling, the conservative Justice Clarence Thomas wrote that in light of the rationale for overturning Roe, the Supreme Court should reconsider its rulings in 3 other past cases which established a right to use birth control, and which said there is a constitutional right for gay people to have sex and marry one another. Friday's bombshell decision came a day after the Supreme Court, in another controversial ruling, invalidated a century-old New York law that had made it very difficult for people to obtain a license to carry a gun outside of their homes. The case that triggered Roe's demise, known as Dobbs v. Casey, in which the Supreme Court reaffirmed Roe. The early May leak of a draft of the majority opinion, which completely overturned Roe, sent shockwaves across the country and galvanized activists on both sides of the debate. The publication of the court's draft opinion, written by Alito, sparked protests from abortion rights supporters, who were outraged and fearful about how the decision will impact both patients and providers as 22 states gear up to restrict abortions or ban them outright. The leaked opinion marked a major victory for conservatives and anti-abortion advocates who had worked for decades to undermine Roe and Casey, which the majority of Americans support keeping in place.